Bonjour les amis, welcome back to GenerateHER. If you've been with me before, I'm happy to have you back. And if you're new here, bienvenue. Very, very pleased to have you with me. So today I wanted to talk about a word. I wanted to talk about a word that has come up in the past couple of days, and I'll tell you why. Not too long ago, I shared on Instagram for my business, Cuisine. I shared that we had just completed an extension renovation project. And the just incredibly touching, kind responses to that overwhelmed me. I am so blessed to have so many wonderful, amazing people in my corner and in the corner of my business, Cuisine, who frankly, the real stars are the team that are there every day, welcoming and hosting classes. And of course, the clients that come that have been a part of our little family and continue to do so. So I genuinely felt the happiness that people felt for us. It was truly, truly beautiful. And in that just extreme kindness, people were congratulating us. And there was one word that kept popping up. One word that I know was said with just the most beautiful, loving intentions. But every time I read it, I cringed. It was the word success. It was congratulating us for our success over and over. And I know, again, this was just with such beautiful intentions. But that word really pained me. It really pained me, and I want to talk about that today and explain why. Welcome to GenerateHER. I'm Jane Bertch. I spent the first half of my life working in a corporate organization, and then I decided to trade that all in to become an entrepreneur. Yes, here in your favorite city of Paris, France. And today, I hope I'm a guide on your journey to personal reinvention and transformation. So I'll be the first to say, I say it over and over, that I am very American, whatever that means. And sometimes my friends will say I'm very French, whatever that means. Those are huge generalizations. But one thing I've come to learn in this beautiful land that I've had the privilege of living in and exploring and still learning about every day is the nuance of language. And because I'm an outsider, I allow myself interpretations because I'm discovering what people mean in the context of these different words they use. And while I am very, very American, there's probably one side of me that's very, very French. And I've learned this over time. I didn't start this way. I'm not overly effusive, or I'm rarely overly effusive. And I think you'll see this in the French culture. You don't have the equivalence of excellent and superb and brilliant and I'm even at a loss of thinking them because I hardly use them anymore. You don't really have the equivalent of that. In fact, if you ask a French person if they like something, they're probably likely going to say it was correct or it wasn't terrible. Now, that only goes so far. I'm not that skewed, but what I am very careful with is the word success. What I will say is something was a réussite. So the word réussite in French and the word succès, success in French, are very close. But again, the nuance of this beautiful language, they're very different in their weight and their intention. A réussite, for me, if I'm trying to explain it, a réussite is that I have won a battle. That's a réussite. If I've won the war, that is a succès. So coming back to Cuisine's renovation, again, so very touched, and I please don't in any way interpret this as me being ungrateful. Quite the contrary. I felt compelled to do another post on my personal Instagram page to explain the behind the scenes. Because there's so many times I think we're faced with these beautiful images of somebody's beautiful home or their car or whatever you may fantasize about. You're faced with these images all the time. And even I get seduced into thinking, oh gosh, why don't I have that? Or why wasn't I invited to that? Or why is that not my experience? And I didn't dare want the renovation of La Cuisine to make anybody ever feel bad about their life's experience. So I wanted to share the behind the scenes. Again, another reason why I can't call it a success. This project took over 7 years. It was riddled with failures. Negotiations broke down several times. Approval to take the space broke down several times. When we finally, the second time, which I won't go into excruciating detail, the second time we finally got the keys, which was this March 2024. So we're looking at close to a year now. When we finally got the keys, we were in the summer of the Paris Olympics, which meant that renovation work was forbidden. So we sat on an empty property for 6 months during a year that was financially very challenging because of the Olympics, to only begin renovation in September. And we had really wild hopes that at least one of the kitchens in this new space would be open for the year-end period, thinking that that might be an opportunity to try to recoup what has not been a great year. Well, that didn't happen. But you know what? It finally did. It finally did happen on February 4th. So the only reason I shared all of that is because I don't want people to look in and think, why is it easy for Jane? Why are my dreams not happening? Because you know what? It's not easy for me. I sometimes think I am constantly in a canoe trying to paddle uphill. So when people were saying, congratulations on the success, and why doesn't Jane use that word? Several reasons. Putting aside the Frenchness of it, that I don't consider it a success because it's not the war that I've won. It's one of the battles. Success is relative. What would have been a success is if I would have gotten the space 7 years ago. Or perhaps if it would have come in on time or in budget. Or perhaps it would have been open for Christmas. So all of these measurements that nobody knows about, and I, again, myself as well, I can make really whopping assumptions on what somebody's final product is, not realizing what happened in between. And most importantly, while the renovation was a réussite, the success is still yet to be proven. The success is still yet to be proven. I've got a really heartbreaking example of a business very close to me that did a beautiful renovation project. Beautiful. I even took clients in to visit it. Beautiful tiling, stunning brass fixtures, just magnificent. It sits closed. 6 months after they opened, they had to file for the equivalent of bankruptcy. So their renovation project was a réussite. Did it turn into a successful business? Sadly, no. And we see examples of that all the time. So that's why it's hard for me to use the word succès or success. But we all know that success is a long journey. And for me, I can only measure it when that journey is finished. And that journey is lined with failures. It's paved with failures. it's a tough road. Some never get to the end of it. I think that journey to success is not even just paved with failures. It's riddled with people that just didn't give it one more try. They just didn't push that much further. And that's okay. But all that to say, it's a long process. And how will I ultimately measure success? If I use my first business, La Cuisine, as an example, I'll measure the success when I'm at the end of that journey. I'll measure success when I look back and I'll think, does this business have a positive reputation? Did it leave creating a community of people that come together, even if it's just for one thing in common? Maybe that's a croissant, but did it bring people together? Did clients leave happy? Did they feel a part of an experience? Did they create a wonderful memory that they're taking with them? Did La Cuisine gainfully and financially support the people that work there? Were they able to make a living for their families? And in the end, two things are going to happen. One of two things are going to happen. Either we'll turn the lights out and we'll say, thank you very much. Or maybe some wonderful person will come on and take her over and put a new focus and new life into La Cuisine. So until I've reached that point, I really cannot say it's a success. And as many times as we've had wonderful Réussites through this 15-year journey, a Réussite of surviving the first year, of surviving COVID, of all of the little bumps in between, and now finally having this extension that we've been working on for many years, those are all Réussites. And we hope it will lead us to one day being able to say that it was a successful business. And for my new business, GenerateHER, how will I measure success? I'll measure success that it's off the ground successfully, that I've developed it in the way that I absolutely hope, that it creates a community of like-minded women, that people are touched and transformed through it, that it was a viable business. All of those things are yet to be tested. And I won't know if it's true until I've come to the end. And how will I measure my life's success? That's an even bigger question. Have I created all the businesses that I wanted to create? I daydream about them every day. Have I lived a happy, joyful life? Have I loved and cared and supported the people around me? Are my family happy? Are they healthy? Of course, have I been able to pay my rent? There's that. But all that to say, that's how and when I will measure succès, true success. But I'm afraid it won't be by a glossy renovation of a new space. So something for us to think about. And I especially hope that we remind ourselves, and I say we because I am very at fault for this, again, coming back to what I first said. We're faced with so many beautiful glossy images of how life is so perfect for everyone. And if you wondered that about me let the cat out of the bag. It's not. I have my days where it's hard to get out of bed. I have my days where I am stuck in a comparison of others. And a friend reminded me this beautiful quote that joy is the thief of comparison. Sorry, that comparison is the thief of joy. So I have that. And I hope in talking about, again, this wonderfully beautiful nuance in the French language between two words that sound so different. In theory, they mean the same thing, but the weight and the heaviness is completely different. A réussite versus a succès. And again, the journey that it takes to get to the succès. So I hope the next time I'm in Instagram doing all those negative things, even though I try to surround myself with people that motivate me and uplift me and share with me, I hope the next time I see something shiny and bright, I remind myself that if it's real, they've gone through quite a journey to get there. Nothing good comes overnight. So, my friends, I hope this is just a little insight, one, to the French language, and two, some thoughts on not just life, but what it means to really achieve something in the grand scheme of things. So I wish you plein réussite this semaine. I wish you plenty of little achievements this week that ultimately will lead you to your big succès. Thank you for joining me, mes amis. I hope to see you next time. And as you probably know, I love journaling. This is something I do every morning, particularly around subjects like this, which since this happened last week on Instagram, I have been journaling about what is success and what does it mean to me and what is a réussite and how do I hear people here use those words differently. I have been journaling big time. And if you love journaling, don't forget, I've got 30 days of journal prompts for you to play with. You just need to go onto my website, janebertch.com/journal, and I'll send them to you. And if you want to be a part of this wonderful community I've been talking about, particularly for ladies, don't forget to take a look at my Paris retreats. You can find those on my website as well, janebertch.com/retreats. And if you want more insights to this wild mind of mine, don't forget to join into Prompts from Paris, my newsletter that I send out every 2 weeks. Hope to see you soon, mes amis. À bientôt.